premature announcements that lead to unkept promises or rushed dead on arrival content.
Well, we wouldn't know anything about that. No, we would know. No, we don't know anything about that. That's crazy, dude. This video was made yesterday or 3.5 years ago. Wait, what? Jesus Christ, bro. Oh, this is so good. Wait, 2 hours? I can't watch this. This is a 5 hour. This is a 7 hour reaction. This is a 7 hour reaction. There's no way. Like, there's just no. There's not enough time in the day. There's not enough time in the day. Okay, so we'll listen to some of his finer points, but I'm gonna skip over like the horse breeding and stuff.
So let's get to the question that I've been getting constantly. Are you quitting BDO? Mostly yes. The reason I say mostly is because I'm not trying to make some grand statement about how I'm never going to...
The answer was yes. To my knowledge, he has never played or streamed BDO since this.
Log into the game.
Maybe he's like logged in, but like not actually play the game
again. This game was a big part of my life for a really long time, and...
Can I get a gear review? We might do gear advice here in a few minutes, or in an hour or two, maybe. I don't know. If we have time today.
Probably still visit. I'll probably still hop on every once in a while and do like a node war with my friends or...
He does not, in fact, do that because all of his friends quit too. But they quit more recently.
Or something like that. You know, I built my channel on BDO, and I think at this point that I've streamed the game longer than anyone else on Twitch. So, yeah, I just don't have a desire to log into the game on a regular basis anymore. That's really what it comes down to. And I felt like this for a long time. Too many of my streams from the past year or more have consisted of logging into BDO, trying my best to find something fun, running into the problems that we're going to be discussing.
He streamed BDO for 4,281 hours. 4,281. Keep in mind, that was 3.5 years ago. Oh, wait, how much have I streamed BDO? Yeah, see, I haven't even streamed. So even at, this was 3.5 years ago, he had 4.8K hours. I've got 3.4K. And to be clear, he's been a streamer much longer than me. But like, he hasn't streamed BDO since then. He's still got more stream time than me. How long has Choice done it? How many hours has Choice done in the BDO category? Hold on, let me see. Because Choice has been here for like 5-6 years at this point, maybe 7. 8,431. Jesus Christ, bro. The hours, bro. The grind. Miss him in BDO, make him come back. While I'm casting him with him later today, I'm sure it'll come up.
In this video, getting frustrated.
Like, I'm literally casting with him in TNL.
And then wishing I was playing something else. It hasn't been fun for me. It hasn't been fun for you guys to watch. And I'm tired of constantly putting out this frustrated, negative energy.
So true, brother. Although, again, it's when you fall out of love with the game that you end up quitting. Fortunately for me, I am a hopeless romantic, so you guys are safe. Okay, I don't think my DK is ever going to break up with me. She's kind of, I have that bitch locked down. We're good. I do think that, again, this video hit super hard. This has 277,000 views on it, guys. As a BDO video. The reason this video smacked so hard is because this didn't quit BDO because he was going to play New World, or because Lost Ark had come out, or because Throne had come out, or some other game. He was quitting BDO, and it resonated. Like, the reason he was quitting resonated with the player base.
To my audience. So
that to be in Discord for gear advice? No.
This is something I should have done a long time ago.
Although you can get gear advice in the Discord, it's way easier.
I've been afraid of leaving the game because of the financial risk. I don't know if I'm, stable enough to swap games or swap careers or whatever this entails. We'll talk about that a little bit more at the end of the video.
I have always respected and looked up to Morlin as a streamer. I used to watch Moreland. Like, you guys watch me now. Any of you guys newer to BDO within like the last even year or two? I looked up to Moreland. That was me. I was you guys for a long time when I started BDO. He was one of my favorite streamers. I watched him all the time. And right around the time he was quitting BDO, I was still on like the start of my streaming career. Like I had just like I was the GM of Dismantled when he ended up quitting. He was in Null, which Null hated Dismantled because Null was all my ex. They were all my old core, which decided that they could go and make a guild that was better than my guild. All left, and they were like, "We don't need blue." They all left and made Null, and then Moreland, Tim Allen, and all them were in Null. And then I ended up beating them in a 1v1. Not that anyone's counting. Like a month and a half later, and that was a lot of fun. But the beef between the two guilds ended up being a lot of fun for both sides. It was not as much fun for me, but that's for other reasons because people are degenerates on the internet. But it was a lot of fun for both guilds. But Moreland was always, even though our two guilds were beefing, and this is why I've always respected him so much, but I've never told him this. Our two guilds beefed really hard, and Tim Allen went in on me impossibly hard. Tim Allen, harassment is an understatement of what Tim did to me back then. And I did not like that. Moreland had an even bigger platform than Tim did, but never once did he try to antagonize or harass me in what I felt was like a super negative way. He would make jokes every once in a while about me or whatever, and he would laugh about it, but like that's different. That's fine, right? I'm talking about people that like literally are like watching my VODs and like criticizing every moment of my content, making chat commands about it, encouraging their chat to like come harass me and all kinds of crazy shit. Like, nah, bro. Moreland never did anything like that. He did love the beef, you know. He participated in the GVGs. He was there with the homies and stuff, and he was having a great time. He was laughing, and he made fun, candid jokes. But like, bro, the guy is just a stand-up act, bro. Absolutely stand-up act. And I love that. Watching him quit was devastating.
But nonetheless, I'm worn out, and I'm sure you guys are worn out from watching me be worn out. So
even Fix 8 has more hours than you. I swear to God, if I look up, who's Fix 8? Fix 8 on these nuts in your mouth? Please tell me I just caught laughing in the these nuts joke. This guy? Oh shit. Ah! He played Bless. Streaming career went about as well as Bless did. Fuck. Hey man, we all try those MMOs that don't work out. Should have gone back to BDO. It is what it is. Yeah, I never knew who this guy was. Never knew who this guy was. I think this guy actually would have been really successful had he just kept streaming. He just stopped streaming. You can see like his hours just decline over time. He just stopped streaming. But like Moreland's kept streaming. He's still going. I would watch Blade Boquest, Moreland, Aeon Janus, Vert. Vert was a big one I watched frequently. Didn't watch Lucari very much, but I watched his YouTube meme videos and what was going on Reddit. Joe Never Fails I watched. God, that guy was a dick. Holy shit. I would watch Joe and he was just a massive dick to everyone. Ridiculous. Oh, D-Jules. True. I loved D-Jules is probably one of my favorites. D-Jules top 3 for sure. D-Jules is always top 3 because he kept it real, man. Plus the dude is sitting up there. He's just streaming drunk and he's like dancing to like some Eurobeat, like dog shit music, like just dancing around his apartment. And he's just he would say like the craziest shit. Dude's got like 350 fail stacks for a pen dandy, still can't hit it. Like it was insane. He was a vibe.
So we are moving on. There's lots on the horizon, and I need to find a game that invigorates me and motivates me to put
food on the table.
Just, to put out quality content like used to be known for once upon a time. I'll talk again a little bit more about that at the end of the video.
If ever I reach this point, guys, it's cooked. If I ever reach a point where I feel like I can't put out quality content for BDO anymore, it's completely cooked.
video, but for now, let's talk about why I'm leaving BDO. Here's the list as short as I could make it. Easily avoidable design flaws, tedious chores disguised as content, fun prevention for no reason,
Oh, he's got it up.
premature announcements that lead to unkept promises or rushed dead on arrival content,
Well, we wouldn't know anything about that. No, we would know. No, we don't know anything about that. That's crazy, dude. This video was made yesterday or 3.5 years ago. Wait, what? Jesus Christ, bro. What are we talking about, bro? Honestly, the tedious chores content and then premature announcements that led to unkept promises could all be announced as hardcore servers this year. Into rushed dead on arrival content. Like it is a chore. It's literally a chore. Hardcore servers. Why did most adventurers participate in hardcore servers? Because they could make 900 million in like 15 minutes. So they didn't do it because they liked the PvP or because they liked the class that they were playing necessarily in the game mode. They did it because, okay, we're gonna speed run the daily and get the fuck out. That's called a chore, guys. You feel like you have to do it even though you don't like the content. That's a chore. Okay, the premature announcements is announcing hardcore servers and promising us all this stuff, and then at the last minute making it dead on arrival by not allowing anyone to play the class that they actually want to play. There it is. There it is. Same as TNL. I think TNL has a much different issue, but yeah, people are quitting TNL for different reasons. I think that TNL, yes, has this issue right here. 100. You can't argue that. That's true. It has this 100%. Don't think it really has this though. I don't think that this is not really a TNL issue. But I would agree with you on the first 200%.
neglecting or outright ruining systems that were or could be actually great.
We wouldn't know anything about that. We would have no idea what you are talking about. Nothing whatsoever. Holy shit.
Greedy monetization, creating problems just to sell solutions.
I'm so glad that they introduced the Papu backpack that gives me 100 mastery during my alchemy. I'm so glad that I can get Kron stones now for my Charizard and my gear can't downgrade anymore. It's crazy, bro. This is crazy. It's the same things.
Hidden stats and lack of quality control.
I think lack of quality control 100% is still an issue. Hidden stats is not as much of an issue anymore.
Those are actually two separate issues, but they tie closely together, so we're going to discuss them together. Incessant desync and other issues with PvP. Enhancing and in-game progression desperately needs an overhaul.
Same. Yep. Bro, brother. And I love how they introduced the pity system, by the way. And everybody hailed them as like, oh, it's great and everything. I feel like I'm the only one that eventually just started saying, guys, is it anyone else looking at this like the pity system is way too punishing? Like, why you got to do 170 attempts before you get your deck sovereign? What the fuck are we talking about? Why you got to fail Pen Blackstar 40 times in order to get a Pen Blackstar? Right? And then eventually enough people started talking about it that the devs finally started changing shit like, oh yeah, I guess we should tone it down. Now it's like 15 attempts for a Pen Blackstar. Okay, that's reasonable. Like, it should be just over the average. Like, if it's a 10% chance, it should be 12 pity. It's that simple. It's that simple. It should not be 10% chance, 30 pity. That's ridiculous. Yeah, 1,000 for Dead God armor. Well, I think the Dead God, obliterating Fallen God is kind of a separate thing because they don't expect you to ever get that. It's just, that's meant to be an impossible long-term goal for adventurers. That's different.
Abyss doesn't stop cheating, and neither does the community.
I think that is a broad statement is unfair to Perlibus. And that's coming from a non-BDO partner. And keep in mind, I'm talking in 2025, so it may have been different 3.5 years ago. I will say he is 100% correct in that statement if he's referring to two things, but mainly the Pinoy problem. We have a problem where somebody will pay someone in another country to grind on their account while they're AFK. So they won't AFK fish. They'll have someone grind on their account for them while they're gone. Guys, imagine if you were making like a gajillion silver per hour. You're making active silver per hour while you were sleeping. Okay, think how much faster you would progress as a player, right? And Perlibus, to my knowledge, has never punished this outside of Hunter Juju, who recorded herself streaming while her account was being played by somebody else somewhere else in the world. So like, okay, well then, all right, yeah, you get caught there, but Perlibus has never punished that issue. I will say that again, the reason I feel like it's an unfair statement broadly, even back then, is because Perlibus, I think, actually, aside from that particular issue, and maybe RMT, which a lot of our BDO partners had participated in back in the day, we don't really have a problem with bots, guys. We don't have a problem with scripting. We don't have a problem with macroing.
Ramsicle3 just resubscribed for 3 months.
Like, we really just don't. We don't have that. How do you RMT? So back in the day, there were a number of BDO streamers who I am not going to name. Ramsick, welcome back for 3 months, but I appreciate you because I'm not trying to expose anybody. But very prominent BDO streamers that streamed back in the day. There was something called sea monster hunting. Obviously, sea monster hunting exists today, but back then you would charge them on your boat. You didn't have cannons. And an update came out where if you went around sea monster hunting, you could make billions of silver. Like billions of silver a week, which was, at the time, guys, we were making like 20, 30 million an hour at like a grind zone. And to make billions for this is like unheard of money. This is money in BDO. This is like you silver in BDO. So what players did was they started joining a guild. And keep in mind, this is before this is why the apprentice system exists. Okay, like in BDO. Is they would drop guild, they would go to a guild, they would get a payout, right? And then they would drop that guild, join a new guild, get another payout, drop that guild, join another guild, get another payout, and they would keep doing this, right? And there's really nothing wrong with this per se, right? If you're out there sea monster hunting, like if you were a normal person, like a lot of players did this, like they joined guilds that were sea monster guilds, and they had like a quota of how many sea monsters they had to kill for the week, and like they did that, and then they got the payout, and then they dropped, they went to another guild, met the quota, got the payout, and then moved on, right? There was nothing wrong with that. Like, and like you could argue that that was an exploit. And maybe it was, because Perlibus eventually patched it and fixed it. And again, now that we have an apprentice system, so you can't get payouts for like a week or two, or it was 2 weeks, now it's only 1 week after joining a guild. That's the reason that exists. The problem comes when players start dropping guild, moving to a guild, like joining a guild, paying that guild, say $150 to get X amount of silver, then dropping guild to go to the next guild, and then paying that guild master $150, and then dropping. We call that a real money transaction in BDO. That is 100% against terms of service. And I have spreadsheets of people doing this. I never did this back in the day because I was never geared. You guys know I've never been geared, right? But the way a lot of our current biggest streamers, or biggest not biggest streamers, but biggest most geared streamer, or most geared players on our server got that way because they did this. And there's there's Excel spreadsheets of all of the transactions happening, the dates that they happened, when they happened, etc. Right? It's cut and dry. They did it. No one was ever punished for this. No one was ever like, and the reason that they will all give is like, oh well, everyone was doing it, and that's simply not the case. See, because I played the game back then and I didn't do it. I sea monster hunted, but believe it or not, I had built a frigate before it was cool. Before they even buffed sea monster hunting, I had already built my own frigate. I went out and gathered. I did all the underwater gathering, mapped out the whole ocean, gathered all my coral, got all that stuff, put my frigate together, and I was already sea monster hunting. So when the sea monster monster hunting update came, me and my guild master, who was Vercanorix at the time, went out and we would sea monster hunt on our boat, and we got a few hundred mil a week from it. It was fun, right? And we did it for everybody else because everybody in the guild got paid. We got paid, but I certainly wasn't dropping guild to go anywhere, and I definitely wasn't paying anybody for it. Like, if anything, I was just enjoying my time in voice with my guild master and my friends. So like, where people are sea monster hunting, absolutely everybody was doing that. What they're not going to tell you is that they were RMTing to get the silver payouts from these guilds, right? And this was super obvious to anyone at the time that was doing it. Super obvious who was paying for it. And again, there's evidence of all of it. These people were never punished. And yeah, that frustrates me that the Perlibus didn't punish that at all. But they didn't necessarily have proof that these players had paid money, right? And I'm certainly not bringing this forward. I'm not digging this shit up right now. That's why I'm not trying to name anybody by name, not even remote. I'm not touching it. But I will say that again, a lot of the people that are super geared even today got there because they did what they did. You look at my gear wheel, you know Blue Squadron ain't never done anything like that because that motherfucking gear is terrible, right? So some of our BDO partners even pinoyed to get where they are. I know it because I know the people that they used to play for them on the account. I know a lot of shit about a lot of people. But I hate cancel culture, right? And to be clear, if they did it, I guarantee you it's a serious problem in the community. There are entire guilds, guys, in the BDO community where, like, you ever notice how a lot of the BDO communities, they go, like you see like these top end guilds, like, damn, how'd that guy get so geared? How did that guy get so geared? Interesting. I never see him out grinding. Huh. Weird. That's really strange. There were some guilds I would join in BDO where there were more people annoying than weren't. Like, that's how bad it was in some of the top end guilds, right? And I was always behind in the gear curve because I just refused to let somebody do that. Like, I refused to do the RMT. I refused to do the Pinoy shit. So I'm always behind the gear curve, but I've never really given too much of a shit because, let's be honest, you guys don't watch me because I'm particularly geared. Like, it doesn't matter to me. But I do think it's kind of an unfair statement to say that that Perlibus doesn't prevent cheating. I think they do an exceptional job of preventing botting and macroing in our game. And then, like, people from, like, they do a pretty solid job of punishing people that exploit events or try to exploit events. Cacao did not, though. Cacao did a terrible job.
And finally, ineffective.
Yeah, very funny, Dorland. Ineffective. No, I said it ain't so. Wait, this video is Christmas in May. This is great, dude. Never mind the fact, an ineffective partner program. This video was made 3.5 years ago. What was my primary complaint about our BDO partner program? One more time in my good ear. Oh yeah, that's right. They don't ever support people's events. I am literally shoutcasting the Throne and Liberty tournament later today with a tournament that AGS is supporting for 1.3 million Lucent. Also, promotional on Steam, promotionals on the website, shoutouts on Twitter. They put it out on their YouTube videos, in their dev notes and stuff. Like, literally crazy. All right? And to be clear, so that you guys don't know, for those of you that don't know, 1.3 million Lucent is approximately 20,000 US dollars. So this would be the equivalent of Perlibus putting, what is 1,000 pearls, $100? So that would be, what are we doing? 1,000 pearls to $100? Let's just move the zero over, right? So 200,000 pearls, right? They could never.
So I'm gonna hit each of these points. Spend a couple.
Again, that's because AGS looks at me and what they see is what Perlibus has always failed to see in me, or they saw it and they just didn't value it. What AGS sees is somebody that will do. You understand the production that I run for that Throne and Liberty tournament would cost AGS over $100,000. to put on in manpower alone. Okay. Perlibus knows this too. If Perlibus wanted to put on a 4-week tournament, like the best in class tournament, you guys remember the best in class tournament that happened in like 2021 or whatever the now? That tournament probably cost them $100,000 in man hours.
Garuda Wolf just resubscribed for 15 months. Hi long time no see.
And then they had to front all of the bill for the prize pool and everything else, right? All Amazon had to do was give some in-game currency, which costs them essentially nothing. Okay? And they get all of the contracted work for free. I am not getting paid to run the tournament. Amazon is supporting it with all that stuff, right? They're fronting all the prize pool and everything. The support is incredible. And that's all I've ever asked for my events. It's just some support. Okay? Because I'll do the production, the shoutcasting, bring the people on, make the assets. All of that shit is on me. I will do all of that. And by the way, again, that's worth $100,000. Okay, at least. I've done the math in man hours. It's insane. Not to mention to have somebody that can run it while it's live is insane. This is what Perlibus had at their disposal, and they just never utilized it. I told Perlibus straight up, I will run the best in class tournament for you. I will literally just do it for you. I'll make all the assets. I'll make the brackets. I'll organize the tournament. But you guys have to front the prize pool, and you guys have to like do all that stuff. You guys don't even have to pay me. I'll just do it. Just let me run it. But you guys have to support the tournament in a way that like gives titles and stuff like the best in class tournament would. And they just wouldn't do it. That's because they're worthless. Their partner program is worthless when it comes to event support. And that ultimately is all that's worthwhile about that partner program was the event support and the fact that you could go to IRL events. Well, shit, I can go to IRL events. People just bring me as a +1. Easy peasy. Time to become a Throne and Liberty main. PA is Dookie. Well, no, it's not PA. It's not PA is Dookie. I'm saying their partner program is ineffective. What does that have anything to do with playing Throne and Liberty or playing Black Desert Online? We're talking about their partner program. Dude, stop getting it twisted. Their partner program is completely ineffective. Do you know what Perlibus's partner program is worth it for? You get to have conversations with the community management team. Woo! And you get a value pack every month with a Comma Blessing and a Book of Old Moon. Sounds great. $45 a month. Holy shit. $45 a month for the amount of hours that I put in promoting their game is slave labor. Okay? Now, obviously it's not, but like it's indentured servitude. Okay? Like it's not a partnership. I am giving all, they are giving me nothing. That's the way that I see it. If Perlibus's partner program actually gave support for events like AGS does for, and by the way, AGS's partner program is not exclusive. Every streamer can just apply and they just get accepted right away. But they support streamers based on their merit and how much they've proven themselves. I had to run the first best in guild tournament for them to realize, okay, this guy's worth supporting. And then they supported it the second time around. It's just that simple. Or the third time around. I had to run it twice for NA, East, and then for EU. And then the third time I ran it for all 3 regions, and they came out and supported it in a big way. But everybody gets to be in that partner program. But the only people that get benefits are the people that, well, run the events and shit. That's how the Perlibus partner program should be. They should just condense their entire partner program into one program. And then the only thing you really do is when a streamer, you don't support anybody until a streamer comes up to you and is like, hey, I want to do this. And then you actually support them in a comparatively good way. Stop giving everyone a mediocre amount of support and give the streamers that actually want to do the work and carry your category the support that they deserve. It's literally just that simple. Because the way that they currently have it organized, it rewards lazy, dog shit creators that don't really contribute anything other than to trying to bag the value pack every month. It's just that simple. Onibus, thanks for the Prime sub, buddy. Appreciate you. Again, it should be based around event support. The current PA partner program, the reason why it's worthless is because it doesn't promote people making events. It just doesn't. How often do you guys see Perlibus partners do events? Like twice a year? 3 times a year? It's pathetic. Like it's absolutely pathetic. By the time that I joined the partner program, Delphi basically Delphi, who used to run it, would be like, dude, I have like a budget for like how much we're allowed to support events with, and no one ever uses it, so go nuts. And I would just ran events all the time because that's how I do my content. I just used to run events constantly. I still do this. I don't run as many BDO events anymore because I know I'm not going to get supported at all, but I still run BDO events, right? But yeah, I mean, like, it's just, I completely agree with him. I think the partner program needs a rework. The fact that Perlibus supports, if Czane were to run a tournament, or, okay, well, let's say that Armin decides he's going to put $10,000 forward and a crazy amount of time and effort to run a tournament for the BDO community. Tons of people sign up. It's going to be this massive event for the category. He's going to get Twitch front page viewership and everything. Perlibus is going to support him and that tournament the exact same way that they would support Czane if Czane came to them and said, hey, next weekend, or next month, I kind of want to run a tournament for my community on like the weekend. I'm just going to throw it together. I'm going to throw my webcam on the stream. We might have some 2v2 stuff. Can you guys support me? Same amount of support. You get the same amount of pearls. You get the same amount of support regardless because you're both BDO partners and they treat all of the partners equally. And again, that's like a communism. That's like a communist approach to content creation. This field is competitive. That's what Perlibus doesn't understand. Yes, it's fun to kumbaya each other and everything, but you need more of a capitalism approach to the way you support your content creators. Support the ones that are actually doing the events. Support the ones that actually stream the hours in the category. Support the ones that actually make quality content for you. Like, stop supporting all of the people that are barely streaming every month, just trying to bag that value back because you want to be friends. It just doesn't make any fucking sense, bro. Because you just drive people like me out of the program, and now you don't have somebody that will basically do indentured servitude work for free. You understand that, again, that the tournaments that I run, I do not take lightly. Those productions are giga for a reason. Like, you don't find creators that can do that very often.
Couple minutes on each.
Pathetic. Being a partner with PA doesn't mean anything anyway. Being able to speak with management does nothing. They don't listen to apply good ideas. Exactly. That's what you realize is that I said it's worth the value pack and then being able to talk with the CMGM team. That's it. That's all it's worth. And what I've realized is being able to talk with the CMGM team is great and everything.
Izio just resubscribed for 2 months.
They can't do anything either. Once you actually realize what's going on at Perlibus, you realize that Laffy and Ronin and Corruption and Etsu and all of those CMs and GMs that care so much about you and your feelings and your thoughts on the game, and they agree with you, their words about the game mean as much as yours do, which is exactly nothing. Perlibus isn't listening to them, just like they're not listening to you. So being able to talk to them does you no good as a partner. Brutal truth. By the way, AGS got the spectate feature in War Games completely overhauled and changed for my tournament. This would be the equivalent of Perlibus, like the CMGM team for Perlibus, getting the Arena of Arsha, like Bugs's and Arena changed, like spectate and the Arena of Arsha, like spectate mode, completely fixed and overhauled to support a community tournament that wasn't even there. It's completely unheard of. Do you know why? It's because AGS understands the value of what I'm doing for them. They don't even have to pay me. I'm just doing it myself. They just have to front the prize pool, which they would have had to do anyway.
But before we do that, I want to kind of take a deep dive into one particular system because I think it demonstrates multiple of the things that I'm talking about and how all this is connected. This video is going to be kind of like a web of different...
Okay. We're not going to watch all of them. He talks about horse breeding here. He's got it timestamped. Easily avoidable design flaws we'll skip. Tedious chores is content we already know. True. Fun prevention for no reason sounds interesting. Sure, what's this?
All right, next topic. Fun prevention for no reason.
Most recent example of this that is so egregious, we're not going to let you play all the classes on the hardcore server. There it is. Fun prevention for no reason.
There used to be the most amazing thing that you could do with T8 and above horses. I think it was T8, maybe it was T9s. Whatever horses get double jump, you could jump up the side of a mountain and you could use mouse movement to turn your horse and you could finesse.
What's the best way to play BDO casual? I just started, I'm curious. The best way to play BDO casual is to just play at your own pace, homie. Don't let anybody press you about having to get your gear quickly or how quickly you're progressing or how you're playing the game. Just play. You'll have a good time. Like, don't get in a hurry. Just enjoy it. That's the best way to play BDO casual. Because I'm going to tell you right now, there's no end. All right? You just keep doing it. And the only difference between you and me in 2 years will be how much you enjoyed the grind to get where we're both at.
Finesse your way up any mountain in the game. And you could only...
That's why I'm still playing the game. Because I still enjoy it.
Do it with really high tier horses. And it wasn't like you could mess up and you could actually mouse move and like jump off the side of the cliff and kill yourself. So there was a little bit of finesse to it. But it was so good. It was so useful for like navigating and getting around. Without that, half the time I'm trying to jump over something. So I have a horse that literally flies. Let me show you guys. Half the time when I am traveling around with this literal flying horse, I get stuck on fences that are 6 inches tall.
True.
Like, you know, I can't. That one worked, but there's like little structures in the game that you'll just get stuck on, like this.
Yep, there it is.
And you know, you could use mouse movements to avoid that. You could jump around a lot of stuff, and it felt like your horse was actually like a legendary horse who could get you places. They saw some streamers using this to, you know, have fun in the game, and they just deleted it for no reason. And now it's really hard to navigate difficult terrain with your horse, and you just get stuck on a bunch of stuff, and it takes a long time, and it's not interesting or fun, and it just makes the game less good for no reason. We had a super fun clip that I did once out in the desert. My first TED accessory ever, way back in the day. I had just hit level 62, and I got my Kaposha earring, which was a level 62 item at the time. And so that freed up a slot for me to go for TED earring.
Imagine hitting level 62 and going, yeah, I got a Kaposha earring. It's like, that's why you wanted to get to 62. That's why I wanted to get 62 back in the day. Nowadays, players hit 62, they don't even know that they got a Kaposha earring.
And so on the way back from Fogan's, where I was grinding at the time, I'm running across the desert, and there's a...
What class should I pick next? I didn't like the first one. I want to look hot. Yeah, Dark Knight, Lawn, Mystic. But honestly, just look at my Choose Your Class guide, homie.
Sandstorm in the middle of the desert. And I'm thinking, oh man, what a good place to try to upgrade my earring. And so I run out into the middle of the sandstorm, and I open my Black Spirit, you know, and I go and I throw the item in to enhance.
And it takes damage.
Whenever you take damage, this screen gets closed.
Yep.
And the sandstorm damages you like every 5 seconds or something. So I had to open the menu and like throw the item in real quick and try to enhance it, and it kept getting interrupted. I would do it too slow, and I would like try to enhance it, and then the sandstorm would hit me and it would knock me out. And so it was just like...
I remember being in History of Ruins and having the sandstorm debuff because the game's spaghetti code, Histria is underneath the dunes of Valencia, and so if there was a sandstorm going by over the top of you, it affected you below, like in the ruins.
Like frantic, goofy clip, and eventually I was able to get the enhance off, and I took the damage, and it closed the window, and the enhancement went off in the backgrounds. And you guys can go look up the clip if you want. It's pretty funny to watch, but it was just like some fun, goofy thing that we were doing out in the desert. And you know, it looked kind of odd, and it was like kind of frantic. And I successfully enhanced my first TED earring in the middle of sandstorm, and it was this like epic moment.
Yeah.
And so the next week, the developers added a patch note saying you can no longer enhance in sandstorms.
Okay, so the reason I'm laughing is because I remember those patch notes. I did not realize that was because of him. I remember when I watched this back in the day, I must have skipped this part because like I must have not watched the whole thing, but I did not realize that was because of him. That's pretty funny. And the best part is that now that I know that's because of him, it makes me think about Dark Knight. For you Dark Knight mains in the audience, that you guys have been DK mains for years, do you guys remember that DK used to be able to like side dash while she was overweight? And you could still side dash as fast as you needed to because it was based on your attack speed. And it was like this for 8 years until I put out my Dark Knight guide that said, hey guys, by the way, cool thing you can do on DK. All of her movement is based on attack speed, so you can just be overweight and dash around. See, it's fun. And like 3 patches later, they nerfed it out of nowhere. I felt so bad. I felt so bad. I was like, you're telling me I have legitimately had a negative impact on the Dark Knight community now. Great. Oh god. I'm sorry, guys. And then the funny thing is, I got around it the next week, and I was like, guys, you can still do it up to like when you're over 125% weight or whatever the fuck with feathery steps and all of this different things. And then they patched that too, like 2 weeks later. And I have to say, that is 100% the CMGM team's fault. Because there is no way that Pearl Abyss Korea saw that. That was just a side comment that I made on stream one time. It's not like it was on a YouTube video. Like, what the f, guys? Stop nerfing DK.
So they saw this clip of
Okay.
me. They got like a ton of views of us having fun. And their instinctive response to that was, let's patch it out.
Yeah, that's stupid as fuck.
Why?
Right.
Why did they feel the need to take time?
Why the fuck did you feel the need to patch out DK being able to dash around? He's absolutely right. Why did we feel the need? Was it really that broken? DK's stamina has serious problems anyway. So even if you could dash as quickly as possible, you were still prevented because your stamina would run out. It only worked for like 2 or 3 dashes. It helped you get from like the storage keeper to like the Imperial Goods Manager and back. That's it. That's all it was. Or maybe you accidentally put yourself overweight. It was usable in like very small situational things. Like
time out of their day to patch out Sandstorm enhancing when there's so many other things that they could be working on. I have no idea.
Yep.
I will never know.
I have no idea. Yep.
Let's just make the game less fun for no reason.
8-hour react incoming. We're not watching the whole video. We're watching the highlights.
Okay, so here's another fun prevented thing, and this is more than just fun prevention. This is sort of like creativity prevention. They added this system into the game called NPC dating, and the NPC dating system itself is kind of in the DOA content category.
It is,
but there was a few things you could do.
I don't want to date an NPC. I want to date my PC, not the computer. I don't want to stick my dick into my computer. But the Dark Knight though,
that were interesting. One of the things that you could do, there's this NPC in Heidel that you could give Ronaros rings to, and she would like you. Ornella would fall in love with you if you gave her Ronaros rings. Those were her favorite. And so Ronaros rings at the time were very flooded on the market. They were min price. You barely couldn't sell any of them. There was like tens of thousands of them that would just sit at the absolute minimum price, and it would take months and months for you to make a transaction if you were selling. So the other thing about Ornella is that she sells offhands. She sells green offhands for various different classes, and around the time that NPC dating was added to the game, the Shy class was also introduced.
Everything bad wraps back to that godforsaken terrorist Al-Qaeda loving class.
So
honestly, Al-Shaida.
I know this is a little confusing, but follow me here because this is like so the Shy class comes out, and all these people are hyped to play this new class, And one of the things that happens when a new class comes out is there's a complete run on all of that class's weapons. Like none of the class's weapons existed before the class. And so anytime a weapon of any kind, even if it's a low quality weapon, if it gets posted on the market, people will buy it out right away. So there's a huge demand for weapons for these new classes.
Yep.
And Ornella sells the...
Dude, I remember that when classes would come out, you'd have to like get like a plus 15 Uria, bro. It's like, oh shit, I've got a Uria for my lawn, man. Like, bro, that's how it was.
Offhands for these classes, but they are limited by Amity.
Tuvala didn't exist
Now,
back then.
Amity is basically one of the currencies that you're generating when through the NPC dating system when you give someone a gift. So, some clever player figured out
He points at himself.
that you could go to the market, buy this item that was flooded, give it to Ornella to increase her Amity, spend that Amity to buy weapons for new shy players, enhance those weapons up to higher levels using, your highly practiced fail stacking technique, and sell those things for a profit. And it was
This is like shit that Blade BoQuest used to do this shit like this too.
pretty good money.
Like this is knowledge, guys. This is like deep. This shows you how deep this guy's game knowledge is. Like this is like people think that I know a lot about the game now, or the choice, or any of these other streamers know anything about the game. We don't know shit compared to these. Blade BoQuest, Morlin, all these back in the day. These people knew about the game. These people knew what the was going on. Okay.
It wasn't going to last forever. It crashed after, like it was about to crash, I should say. It didn't have the chance to crash because fun was prevented. The devs caught on that some of us were doing this, and they were like, well, that's just you're just connecting things that we don't want connected. How dare you use this NPC system?
I thought that those kind of things were what made BDO so cool and engaging. I'm just going to be 100% honest. As a player, when I first started BDO, I felt that BDO was the vastness of the world and all of the systems in the world and all this crazy shit going on. In all of these systems, there was crazy amounts of knowledge that you could accumulate. And in knowledge, there was power. So like, because you knew this random NPC that you could give Amity to get the green weapon, you could like make money off the central market because other players didn't have that knowledge. That was really cool to me. That was so cool. That's why, again, I was the first person to discover how to make spirit perfume elixir en masse, because I understood how to get dead tree essence and nobody else on the server worldwide did. I was the first person to discover that because the devs made a mistake in their notes. But like, it was the same thing. It was so cool. So cool.
To increase Amity, when Amity is the thing that you can use to buy this item that you then found a market for, and like, we don't want you making money that way. The only allowed way that you can...
Okay. We're going to skip this. We're going to go to premature announcements led to unkept promises, dead on arrival content, greedy monetization, we already know, neglecting, outright ruining good systems, hidden lack of quality control, incessant desync, we already know. Endgame progression needs a complete overhaul and enhancing, okay? Pearl Abyss doesn't prevent cheating. This is the thing I'm curious about.
Pearl Abyss doesn't prevent cheating, and neither does the community.
Strong
It's a bit to unpack here. Cacao had said to me privately, I won't say who, but someone from Cacao had said to me back when Cacao was still running this, that it was hard to catch cheaters because of VPNs. Everyone uses a VPN nowadays. And I was kind of shocked when I heard that, because I worked for an MMO before doing customer service, and we would get reports of cheaters all the time, and it was actually very easy to determine who's cheating. You don't have to use IP address. It doesn't matter if someone's using a VPN. There's all kinds of things you can look at. There's their play patterns. There's their hardware IDs. I mean, like, if somebody is, and you can give them warnings too, and people will basically confess to you that you're cheating. Like, if you send someone a message saying like, hey, you've been caught for this. This is your 24-hour or your 48-hour ban. Don't do it again, or it's permanent. Usually they will say something like, yeah, you're right. You got me. I'm sorry. Or they'll confess in a different way. They'll say something like, what do you mean? I was on vacation, which is also a confession, because you look at their logs and it's like, from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m., they're playing from one hardware ID in one part of the game, doing this one thing. And then from like 8 p.m. to 8 a.m., they're at a completely different hardware ID doing this other thing in a different part of the
Annoying. That's what we call it in the community, is somebody else is playing on your account. Losers do this.
game. And then it goes back.
Those same losers that constantly kill you in PvP because they're in that really high-end PvP guild, guys. Those people basically all annoy.
Back and forth.
Those people that have you gear, either they've RMT'd or they've Pinoyed in most cases. Or they're just Giga Whales, but that's relatively uncommon. Why would you ever spend $50,000 to get your gear when you could just have someone in another country play on your account for 12 hours while you're not there? That's like, and then the funny thing is, these same players will log in, and in order to virtue signal, they will shit on you, who is playing the game legitimately, and not like you're playing the game as it's supposed to be played and grinding as much as you can, and you can't possibly keep up with these. Now, you can't keep up with them now. You can't keep up with them ever, and they know it. No, they just call you a gearlet. They say you're not good. They call you a pussy, blah, 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 all this shit, when all they're doing is just cheating for 12 hours a day, and then they just get on, they PvP for 2 hours, and they log out. And then they let the other person just go again. It's cancer, bro.
Every day for like a week, and it's like, yeah, bro, you didn't go on vacation for 7 days in a row for 8 hours at a time. Like, get out of here. You're banned. Like, it's very easy to tell.
So he's
and
talking about Pinoying, and that's a fair statement then. If he's talking about Pinoying, then yes. 100%.
Doubt. If you're ever genuinely not sure, then okay, like
Serious
err on
problem.
the side of caution. I don't think they should just go and get ban happy, but like the amount of stuff that people get away with in this game is honestly crazy. And is using excuses like, well, they use VPNs, so we're not sure when somebody's paying someone else to.
Yeah, so he's 100% correct. Perlibus is very. They think that there's only one way to ban people, and it's permanent. They've only recently tried to like mildly adjust this for like a little while, and now we're back to the permanent shit again. So like Perlibus's definition of banning someone is always permanent. It's not like we're gonna warn them, we're gonna give them a 1-day ban or a 3-day ban or whatever. It's they're permanently banned if they catch you cheating. And the problem with that is they're so nervous to permanently ban somebody that wasn't actually cheating that they just don't ban anyone at all. By this same logic, we would have no jails in like real life, just to be clear, because you could put someone in jail that didn't deserve to be there. Well, you might as well just not put anyone in prison then, and that's the problem. Okay, you just can't do that. You have to be better about this. You have to be better about this. They're super scared to ban people. I mean, shit, guys. I used to see they would lean against walls and put players' addresses on banners. Like PvP guilds would put a player's name and address on a banner. And when they leaned against the wall so that everybody could see it, just to intentionally dox them. And then screenshots of this would be sent to Perlibus, and nothing would get done because it could be anyone. Could be anyone's address. Could be anyone's name. Could be anyone, right? People would name their character your first and last name, and then they would pop a bell on that server so that they would dox you to the entire server. Okay? Perlibus would not ban those people because, well, technically anyone could have that name. Ridiculous. It's ridiculous. There's always some excuse why we can't ban the most toxic people in the community. And the worst part is the reason that one-sided decks got removed is the exact same mentality. They felt that they couldn't ban the most toxic, shithead, terrible people like in our community that were abusing the system. They just refused to temporarily ban them. And so they changed the entire system for thousands of players worldwide and over everybody because a few people were abusing it. If they had just enforced their TOS the correct way and just temporarily banned these people and increasing, say like, hey, don't do that, 1-day ban. They do it again, 3-day ban. They do it again within a year, 1-week ban. They do it again within a year, 2-week ban, right? Then you go permanent if they do it that many times in a year, right? No, just can't do it. It's ridiculous. Now, again, they changed the whole system and then they started doing that. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's basically impossible to get banned for hunting someone on server to server. It's basically impossible. They just won't do it. They did it for a while when Canon and them were all playing the game, but basically no one gets banned for that anymore for any reason. Unless you're Korean, in which case you might get some people banned.
To play on their account. Come on, it's easy to.
Why did you time out that guy for saying blue? How long does it hang? I mean, honestly, I've been struggling with this lately because I've been running a lot with Basil, and there's like chafing. Like my dick will knock between my knees and it'll like chafe right by my kneecaps. And so like I'm dealing with this. So like I'm trying to figure out how to get some padding in between my legs because it's kind of rough.
Tell. In 99% of cases, it's very easy to tell. And you know, the piloting and the paying other people to play your account, that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's been some really egregious cheating that goes on in this game. There's been silver dupes. There's been people who rig enhancing rates. There's been people who, you know, the biggest thing that have impacted the economy for a long time was speed hackers.
Yeah, okay, but all of this stuff, this is all Prolibus has handled all this stuff. Since Prolibus has taken over, we don't have problems with speed hackings, duplicate stuff, like the silver, all that stuff he just mentioned. We don't have
people would basically teleport into Histria, speed hack, cooldown hack,
that was a problem for a while. I don't remember if that was Cacao though.
Instantly kill everything. They would have a macro that put their pets away and took them out to instantly reset the looting, which is like another exploit that.
You can do that?
People probably still do to this day, and that would make them loot faster. And like,
bro, that would be so impractical to do yourself. You'd have to like have the pet window open and just constantly click.
That was destroying the economy for a long time, and it took like a year and a half for them to crack down.
That did destroy the economy for a long time. The reason that this stone exists on the marketplace in North America, oh, there it is. The reason this is the same alchemy stone traded 5 times. The reason that this stone exists in North America is because a speed hacker was speed hacking for like a year or whatever, had you money, and basically just enhanced, had infinity money basically. And enhanced, and finally just got one. And then he traded it to himself over and over and over again on various accounts because no one had orders on it because it just never existed. And I don't even remember who actually has it now. I don't remember who it actually landed in. But that speed hacker was eventually banned, but the stone was not on his account when it got banned. So it still exists. As far as I'm aware, that stone still exists. There's only exactly one of them. Yeah, the stone was RMT'd. Yeah, 100% it was RMT'd. It's not even a question.
Down on it at all, and it still exists, in, you know, to a lesser extent. But
to put okay, for those of you that don't understand, it's like, well, why would you do that? The stone's only worth 30 bill. This stone, add 2 zeros. That stone is worth like exponentially amount more money. At least 3 trillion liquid. At least 3 trillion liquid. How do you get it? So, all right, let's have a little exercise. So in order to get this thing, I don't know, it's like a 10% chance to go from this thing to this thing. And then to go from that thing to this thing, it's like a 5% chance. And to go from that thing to this thing, it's like a 3% chance. By the way, if this ever fails, it just breaks. Go on. Okay. When you click this, some of these, they only downgrade. So you have to enhance them back up again. Okay. So like some of these, like to this point, it just downgrades itself. But once you're enhancing past this right here, it just blows up. So this is a 3% chance, as far as I'm aware, to go from this to the yellow grade of this is a 3% chance. To go from this to this is like a 1% chance. So you need to hit a 3% chance, followed by a 1% chance, followed by what we understand to be like a 0.1% chance. Okay. And to be clear, in order to get one of these, and Zethian could tell you, or Divios could tell you, because I know that they crafted them, I think, themselves. I'm pretty sure. Huntler, I think, sniped his off the marketplace. You have to spend so much time, add up all the time you've ever spent in the enhancement window in your BDO career. You have to spend all of that time doubled in the alchemy stone window to get one of those. And then you need to do it 100 to 200 to 300 to 400 more times to even hit the average to get one of these. Okay, so again, we're talking about trillions worth of silver. All right, because anyone that's actually done alchemy, because the real problem with this system isn't even the amount of silver that it takes to make it. That's not the problem. The real problem with this system is this menu right here. The recharge, polishing, growth menu for alchemy stones. This takes forever to do. This has needed a rework forever. The amount of time it takes you to constantly recharge, polish, and then grow your alchemy stone, you're going to be here for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. It's going to be miserable. Absolutely miserable the entire time. The 3 trillion would be a steal. I think that most players, if somebody listed one of those for 3 trillion, they'd buy. They wouldn't even think about it. They would sell all of their gear to get that item, because they could get all their gear back, no fucking problem. That item's basically unobtainable.
Like, if there is any cheating, it takes them way too long to respond to it. The responses are always way too lenient. There's always tons of people that get away with
Gabe to start making those.
No, I don't think even Rapolis isn't carried enough to make one of those.
it.
You don't grasp how hard one of those is to get.
And like, you know, frankly, at high end, the game's kind of a joke when it comes to the competitive scene. Like, if you do get banned for mostly the stuff that people are getting caught for now is piloting, right? It's like paying people to play their account. But there's people who do more egregious stuff than that. There's still people who bot and speed hack and cooldown hack and stuff like that. And even if you get banned for botting or hacking or something like that, you can just buy an account and literally use the same name. And not only will Pearl Abyss not take action against you, the community won't take action against you. Nearly all the top guilds have people who've been banned. Some of them have been banned twice for like really egregious things, like actually botting or like actually.
There it is. Told you. I've been in these guilds. Yep. And the reason I'm always behind the gear curve is because everybody else is cheating. I'm just playing the game, having fun,
exploiting and cheating, and these top guilds just like it's their homie, you know. They just welcome back in. No one cares. They go, they buy another account for a few grand. They change their name to be literally the same name as the one they got banned on, so everyone knows.
For many years, Pearl Abyss. What you guys know how they do their infograph every year for like who has like the highest level on the server worldwide, whatever. Well, for a long time, that person's name was Bria. They had the highest level character on any server ever. Okay? And Pearl Abyss touted them, oh my god, the most dedicated adventurer. Oh my god, they're incredible. Oh god. And they sucked Bria's cock for like every year for this. And everyone in the community knew that this person was a known cheater. This person was a known exploiter and cheater for years. This person has people playing on their account 24/7. Okay? And eventually, Pearl Abyss banned them. Bria appealed the ban and said that, well, we both live in the same house, so it should still be legal. Right? Like it's like a husband and wife situation, right? Which is hardly believable as it is. All right. So Pearl Abyss unbanned them. All right. And now they basically have ban immunity because Pearl Abyss is so deathly afraid to permanently ban somebody who doesn't actually deserve it. And again, this is the problem, that now that they've been unbanned, Bria in RBF, Red Battlefield, eventually, at a certain level, RBF gave a percentage of a level for a long time. in the red battlefield for EXP. And once you reach a certain level in BDO, believe it or not, the fastest way to get to the next level is to just do RBF around the clock. So everybody that did RBF saw Bria 24/7 in RBF, dry humping a wall on a wizard that was a clearly bot scripting like skills into a wall. Just basically running it basically literally running into a wall on a wizard casting skills. But don't worry, my wife's playing on my account. Yep, it was cancer. Everybody knew this. It's the account, as far as I'm aware, still exists today. Because our GM team is incompetent. Just won't do anything. They're too afraid to ban him. Everybody in the community knows about this person. And to be clear, they were touted out in the most recent infograph. They changed their family name. They changed their family name, and I remember looking at the name and being like, damn, used to be Bria. Wonder if Bria actually got banned. And then somebody goes, no, they didn't. Go look at the character names for that account. Sure enough, all of the character names are Bria. It's them. It's the same. They just name changed. I still cannot, to this day, I cannot believe that account is still not banned. It's so egregious. Everyone knows it's happening. I've called it out God knows how many times, and I'm not the only person that's called this out, and I'm sure that other people have reported it to Perlibus too. Perlibus knows about it, but they're so deathly afraid of banning them again that they just refuse to do anything. So Bria could literally start speed hacking tomorrow, and our CMGM team would literally do nothing about it. Because that's basically what they were doing in RBF for like 3 years. They didn't do shit. Ridiculous.
Knows it's them, and they rejoin the same guild, and they're back at it. And then they look for a different way to cheat, where they won't get caught as easily. And Perlibus is very ineffective at stopping them. And the people who play this game at a high level, more or less, just think it's funny.
He was a wizard. I don't know. They changed classes a couple times over the year. I don't know what the family name is now. They were on the infograph for the last ball. I remember seeing them. But their character names are like Bria this or Bria that. It's Nursey. Here, I'll look it up. Here. Let's see. You're saying it's Nursey. Level 71. Guildless. Yep, Briaya. Them. Bria Chan, Bria Chin, Tobacco Curl, Drunk, Lamau. LOL. There's Bria right there. There's the witch. Yep, this is the person. This person has been exploiting the TOS for many years. It's very obvious. Perlibus knows it. Everybody at the community knows it. Perlibus refuses to stop them. So part of what Morlin is saying is 100% true.
And like
71 is so insane. Well, they cheated the whole way to get there. And the worst part is they're still losing to people that actually play the game because they're terrible. Imagine cheating and still losing, which, by the way, is what a lot of the top end guilds do, which is why a lot of them don't like me, is because I absolutely dumpster them verbally, constantly. And then I would beat them in team fights, and they've been cheating for years. God, man, it must be so embarrassing. It must be so embarrassing to constantly cheat for years and get beat by a fat ass bald dude behind a computer screen. Holy I would be pissed too.
Are they wrong at this point? Are they really wrong? Like, between all the greedy cash shop progress and all the cheating that people have gone away with, should we respect progress in the game at this point? Like, should guilds like that care if their friends cheat? I mean, I know I'm supposed to, like, virtue signal here and say, you know, that these are all bad people and that, like...
I think that if everybody that was Pinoying suddenly got banned, you would legitimately see the number of players, the number of active players in the PvP scene for BDO, and especially in the top end guilds like Family, guilds like Digital, Corrupt, even Barcode back in the day, but they don't exist anymore. All of those guilds would lose 80 or 90 players. Like, legitimately, instantly. It would be insane. It would be one of the best days of my professional career because we would be farming, boys. The Blue Squadron community would be farming. Holy shit.
I would never let my friends get away with it. But honestly, if I led one of those guilds and the game was in the state that it was in right now, and
When Cho quit, SEA lost 10% GDP. That was a good joke. You had to think about it for a second. That was pretty good. I like that.
someone got banned, and they were like one of my close friends, I might let them back in.
Oh, dude. Okay, I have a story. So one time, I remember I used to run guilds, right? So I was running Dismantled, and I'm out bartering, and all of a sudden, one of the guild members, who had just joined the guild, like I don't know, he had joined the guild like a month ago. All of a sudden, he just starts talking in guild chat. Yo, leave spot, my spot. Me be here 10 hours, my spot. And I go, because it was like 3 a.m. and I was like, oh no. So I go to Discord. First of all, in Alliance chat, I was like, yo man, you gotta talk in general chat. No other response. Then I go to Discord because now I'm curious. I go to Discord. I'm like, hey man, you're talking in Alliance chat, just so you're aware. He goes, no, I'm at work right now. I said, that's fine. When you come back, you're not going to have a guild, though. He goes, what? I said, because your Pinoy is currently talking in Alliance chat, and he's trying to get somebody off his spot because he's a idiot. And he goes, it's like this long pause. It's like this long pause. And he comes back to me a few hours later. He goes, dude, honestly, I swear to God, I just needed to get some gear. It's the first time. I'd never done it before. My friend told me about it. I thought it would I thought it would help. And I was just trying to do something good for the guild because I would get more gear. And I go, what is a Pinoy? It's a pilot. So somebody is playing on your account when you're not there. You're paying somebody else to play on your account while you're AFK. They're grinding for you while you're AFK. And I just said, dude, you don't have to explain it to me. I'm not going to go to Pearl Abyss and like report you or anything, dude. But you're also not going to be in my guild anymore. Have a nice day. I kicked him. All done. Like, I've run a lot of guilds in BDO. But like, man. And you deal with it. The people just try to get ahead, bro. People cheating. But the reason they cheat is because Pearl Abyss lets them get away with it.
If it was 2016 BDO, I wouldn't. Right? Like, if it was before Cronstones and all that stuff, I'd be like, yo, you're ruining the game. But
bro,
what competitive scene is there left to ruin? Most of the top players are cheaters.
And he doesn't even know. This video was made 3.5 years ago. True, brother. So true, brother. Oh, God, it just got worse. Dude, it got so much worse. And it wasn't even because of the cheaters. It was because they ruined all of their PvP systems. There's no competitive scene left to ruin. There's just no one cares about cheaters. No one cares about the pilots and stuff because why does it even matter? Who cares? Like, I care. I'd love to see those people get banned.
The top guilds have cheaters in them. Most of the top streamers are cheater apologists who continue to play with cheaters and act like it's not a problem and come up with different justifications for why, like, well, our enemy guild does it, so of course we're going to do it too.
That's why I couldn't be on the competitive scene for BDO anymore, like in a top-end guild. I spent some time in those top-end guilds, and honestly, it took me a while for the realization to dawn, because it's not like people talk about themselves cheating like a lot, right? Like you join Vertex or Barcode or in Family or whatever. It's not like everybody talks about it. Like after a while, you start realizing how in the are these players getting more gear than me? I just don't understand because I'm sitting out here grinding because I'm already behind the gear curve. I'm grinding 6-8 hours a day. I still can't keep up with these people. What the is going on, right? Like they just have you gear and you money all the time. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Statistics recruiting. I'm good. Like eventually you just, it just becomes a joke.
So
Annoy is low-key a slur? No, it's not. Not as far as I'm aware. People use that term all the time. I can use pilot if that helps. I can use pilot.
that just creates a whole culture of like, honestly, why should you care? Why should you be the only?
It is a slur. It is not a slur. It kind of is. It's not. Okay. Because we're okay. Because, but that's just the term that I was told. Okay. Because it's controversial at all, I will just use the term pilot. Is that better? Everybody happy? I'll just use the term pilot. I am not aware that term is a problem in any way. I literally, I just thought that was just the term that people used to explain it. I don't know. Okay. Just use pilot. Yeah, I'll just be safe. I'm not trying to offend anybody. It means somebody else playing on your account. That's what we're talking about.
Only one who's following the rules. And you've heard people say this. I mean, one of the GMs of one of the top guilds before he quit basically said exactly this.
He's talking about Big Sasha for Black Rose.
You know, in the partner program to the devs, he basically told them like, look, for a long time, I told my guys, if I catch you doing this,
I'm a pilot and you're insulting my profession. That's crazy.
I'm going to kick you from the guild. But months went by, a year went by. The guys we're fighting are doing this every day, every week. They're raking in massive amounts of silver, paying
He's talking about Show Nation.
other people to play their accounts and doing these other cheats, and nothing is happening to them. At some point, I just have to give in and say, you know, who cares? Who cares now? Like, do whatever you want.
Yep. So Black Rose started doing it too.
And
Vertex was doing it.
you know, like, as much as I want to say I don't agree with that, I can see how people get worn down.
Again, guys, we're not going to have this debate. I mean, I feel like the situation is one of those things where people want to get offended on other people's behalf. I'm friends with a lot of Filipino people. They're the ones that use the word Pinoy. And I didn't even realize that it refers to Filipino people. They use it. Americans use it. Canadians use it. Europeans use it. That's the term that people used for it. If it is offensive, I just won't use it. Fine, I'll just use pilot. It's no big deal. But like, we're not going to stand up here and say it's like a slur, like it's like I'm saying the N-word or something. Like, no, that's clearly not what's happening. But if it's offensive to people, that's not my intention at all. Just use pilot. No big deal. Okay. It's not the end of the world.
Down. If the stuff isn't
I don't. Nobody really uses it like it's some sort of slur. It's just the thing.
enforced, and if the community doesn't care, and if you can be, you know, a top
I was being sarcastic. Okay, then never like. Okay, yeah. So it's not okay. It's not a slur.
community member in a top guild or a top streamer and get away with stuff and play with people.
I'm actually
and
trying to use the word less, like a lot less. I'm trying to like move away from that. Like cussing is fine and like my normal flippant behavior, but I'm trying to get away from that word too.
you know, act like you're somehow above it and maintain your image. I don't know, man.
Yep. That's why at the time that he made this, he and I were both playing on the T1 scene. We were all just
I don't
T1
know.
players.
I mean, it's Pearl Abyss's fault. It's also the community's fault at this point.
It's Pearl Abyss's fault. I don't really blame the community. The community's called it out so many times, like a boy cried wolf situation. It's Pearl Abyss's failure to do anything about it. You think that the community didn't call out all these cheaters like a million times? It's Pearl Abyss that refused to do anything. Eventually, you just stopped calling them out. Like, well, nothing's going to happen anyway.
I think
It's Pearl Abyss's fault, not the community's fault.
I think they could crack down on it. I think they could get
It's
serious
crazy how relatable a lot of this stuff is.
about
This is
actually stopping
insane.
this stuff and, you know, assign a group
This
of
is
people to
wild.
actually figure out, you know, who's cheating and who isn't. I mean, some of the stuff is
3.5
blatant. When
year
people
old video.
were speed hacking in Histria, they would list like 100 items instantaneously.
Oh, ineffective partner program. We got to see that one. That one's going to be juicy.
Last thing I got here, ineffective partner program. The partner program, when we swapped over from Cacao to Pearl Abyss, I was hopeful. My initial impression from the guys in the partner program was these are guys who want to listen to us, and it's going to be different now. We have hope. We have a direct link to Pearl Abyss. You know, it reminded me kind of back in the Xbox days where, like, I felt since Xbox was self-published in the Xbox partner program, I felt like really listened to in that program. I felt like my feedback was getting to the devs, and the game was being, you know, like fixed when there was a big issue. The PC partner program is a hot mess. I can't really go into too much detail because technically I gave them an NDA about it, but it's basically like feedback theater. They sort of like, they aggregate our feedback and then they send it to the devs, but it's like very clear that the devs.
The NDA refers to any privileged information I gave you about the game. For example, I've signed an NDA with Pearl Abyss. I can't talk about what I've seen in the Pearl Abyss office. Right? Like the specific things that I've seen in the Pearl Abyss office itself, right? I can't, like, privileged information about the game. You can't talk about that kind of things. You can talk, as far as I'm aware, I mean, partners talk about this all the time. And no one ever gets warned or anything about it. The NDA for the partner program, and I'm not a partner anymore, but I was, does not really refer to just talking to the CMGM team. Although, yeah, I don't think that you're supposed to disclose your conversations necessarily with them without, like, consent, per se, as long as you're in the partner program. But, like, I would say that that's true just of people in general. I don't know. I'd have to reread the thing. Maybe he's under NDA. I would assume that Marlon's read it well enough.
Aren't.
And it's also, it could have changed between then and now.
Reading it or responding to it or acknowledging.
It's a vastly different partner program than when he was in it too.
It in any way.
Like it was better when he was in it. Now it's even worse.
It's just like, hey guys, thanks for your feedback. We'll be sure that gets sent into the shredder over in Korea.
Yes, sir! Yes, sir! There it is! And you start to realize that what the is this partner program even for? Yep. You give feedback, they say thank you for that meaningful feedback. We really appreciate that. We're gonna give this feedback over to Korea. We're like, oh, thank God. And really all they're doing is just reassuring you so that you'll stop talking about it and you'll get off their ass. Because nothing is ever gonna change. That feedback will go nowhere.
And I don't know. I don't really need to go into it further than that, but the only reason I mention it here is because, like I said, it was a big source of hope for me. Like, it was one of the things that I was kind of waiting to see on. Like, hey, maybe now that we're self-published, they'll actually start to listen and some of the stuff will actually start to matter. And that kept...
Where's the Node Worker Guide? I don't have enough time to make it today. I'm going to make it on Thursday or Sunday. Thursday or Sunday. So tomorrow or Sunday, I will be live and I'll be making it.
Playing the game for a little longer, but it's been a few months now and it's clear that, like, it, yeah,
So you lied. I did not lie. I said I was going to make a new worker guide.
They don't care. They got too many other people yelling at them. They don't need us yelling at them too. They don't care what we have to say. And
I don't care what anybody is.
It just is what it is. So let's try to wrap this up. What is the game doing right? Combat. I mean, the combat, I think, continues to carry BDO.
Yep.
If the combat in this game wasn't so good, I think all the other issues would be much more glaring. But we constantly forgive this game because it just feels so good to blast things. And, like, I mean, Scars of Dusk, like, there's just nothing else like it. The combat is really, really fun. The PvP is really fun when it actually works and when there's actually a point to do it. I think that's, you know, the work that they did on, like, the new Hadoom spots and stuff like that was really cool. Those spots are fun to grind at. They feel new and different.
He's talking about Serendia Elvia.
The graphics of the game, as always, like, it's a beautiful game.
They called it Hadoom originally.
Nice to just fly around on my Pegasus. I like the way the world looks. The artists in this game are amazing. The animators are amazing. There's so much talent at Pearl Abyss when it comes to, like, the combat and the arts. I just wish that they put that level of quality into all these other things that we were talking about. There are, you know, some things that have been added to the game that I think were excellent starts that could be turning into something. Bartering was a great addition, but ultimately, like many other things that I mentioned in today's video, ruined by tedious daily chores that are unrelated to the skill itself that nobody wants to do. They're, you know, I think they're adding a new ship or something in the next update, or at least they've announced it. We'll see if it ever...
No, they don't. No, they didn't. It's all good. I think he's talking about the Panok Sun, which, don't worry, Marlon, 3 years later, we got it, buddy. We got that ship, baby. Whoa!
actually gets released. So, that's cool. Bartering is, one of those core.
What he's referring to, though, is the GM boat that they teased. There is a special boat, guys, called... No, I forget what it's called. I have it, though. I have something that no one else has. I will show you guys. You can't tell anybody that I have it, though, okay? Nobody's supposed to know. The Etheria Galleon. Very unique boat. Extremely difficult to get. Okay. The only way to get the Etheria Galleon, it's basically, you can see it right, it's right there on the screen in front of you. That's what the ship looks like. I don't know if I can hide my camera. Close this. I don't think I can move this out of the way, but that's what it looks like right there. Yeah, you get it when you win a region or a territory. It is gifted to the guild that wins the region or territory, and the guild master may give it to one person in the guild or just themselves for the week. You have it for 1 week. In order to even have that, there's only one of these around for each region each week. Very difficult. Very difficult to get.
It and continue to work on it. Monos was the same way. Monos life skills was a great start. It revitalized some life skills. It completely killed some other life skills, and they sort of just didn't.
Okay. So, easily avoidable. So, this video is actually crazy good. This resonated with a lot of people. This is probably one of the most popular BDO videos that has ever come out about quitting the game. Probably the most popular BDO video that has ever come out about quitting the game. Because again, it was genuine, it was sincere, and it spoke to a lot of adventurers. You don't get that kind of views on a video unless you really resonate with players in a big way. So this is it right here. I recommend going to interact with the video, even though it's 3.5 years old. There's Rapolis as the top comment. Fantastic videos. Was scared about those 2 hours initially. Ended up just watching it in one go. Yeah, I recommend watching the entire video, guys. It's a really good watch. Sadly, I can't watch the whole thing because we'd be here for 8 hours. This is the most relatable BDO video ever. The game is just tedious, unbalanced glitch fest. Yeah. Oh, there's Blade Boat Quest. Yo! The man himself. I support you, man. You're a BDO legend and left your indelible mark on the community. It'll be worse for not having you. But deciding when we will trade less of our lives for that which we've already conquered and that has already become mundane is a hard choice many never face. Damn. Holy shit. Instead, the ease of stagnation in all things lures us to continue as we become more mere spectators to life. I'm much better off having left. Of course, my channels and my career as a content creator is not, but it has been worth it in spite of despite this. I wish you more success than I found in moving on, and all the happiness I did. Your best, your friend, Blade Boquest. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy, bro. Chat GPT, bro. What an actual response. Biz! How you doing, Biz? Funny how you show up. Funny how you show up when I start talking about some of this stuff. Crazy how I don't know how long you've been here since I've been talking about some of this shit, but this shit crazy, bro. Are any other nuggets on this video? Are there any other nuggies? Oh, there's Travesty. That's the best awakening mystic in NA. Yep, they should hire you part-time and give you counsel. You put more thought into the game than I could imagine. Little transparency, decent quality of life, and chores are my pet peeves. Yeah, so they tried to do this with Armin. Didn't work. Hey, there's Jay. So many of my IRL friends joined BDO because of Shadow Arena. I miss it so much. What? Jay? Bro, true, Jay. Actually, who are you? What the bro? I'm talking to him. I'm gonna go talk to him about this, bro. I'm gonna talk to him about that. I just caught that. Wait, bro, how many other content creators are in here? Oh, it's Biohack. I watched the whole thing. Definitely agree with you on pretty much everything except enhancing is still the best part of the game. Kappa. That sounds like a Biohack comment. Yep. That sounds like a Biohack comment. Goldsteinberg. Good for you, bro. Good luck. Hopefully they make some changes that bring you back eventually. But to be honest, the game is awful now. That was 3.5 years ago. Unfortunately, people leaving it is probably the only way we can hope to fix it. 3.5 years ago and nothing has changed, bro. Oh my God, bro. His message is he's nothing if not consistent. Yeah, he's nothing if not consistent. He's a BDO partner when he said this, by the way. There's Grim. A lot of points brought up. Hit home hard. God, I miss BDO days. Good job, Moro. Yep, that's Grim. There's Guido. Wait, this is I think this is the console guy. This is one of the top console creators. Coming back to you again in almost 2024, homie. This is 1 year. And I can tell you, while there's been many quality of life additions to the game, many core issues have not been fixed, and I don't think will ever be fixed. It's actually insane. So true, brother. Shaky Bay. I feel you, man. Best of luck, Merlin. I agree with the whole list, especially the cheating part. Of course you do, Shaky. Of course you do. Because everyone, as we know, the unkillable god of PvP would never lose if not for all of these godforsaken cheaters. Everyone that has ever killed Shaky Bay in PvP is clearly exploiting. Just like everyone that ever beats you in Throne and Liberty. Oh, he hearted this one. I'm not all the way through this either, but I'd be amazed if your subs on Twitch drop because of this. If anything, your playing stuff for the good channel will help improve it. Although I'll be honest with you, I think that Morlin has done a fantastic job branching out his content to other stuff. He hasn't seen as much success necessarily, but he has done an exceptional job. Like, cause bro, when you play another game, you got to put your head to the stone and you got to grind. You got to grind. Any content creator that's done this knows. Okay, the reason I'm doing I am shoutcasting the Throne and Liberty tournament later today with Morlin. Okay? Part of the reason I chose Morlin to be like my guy for NA East for such a big tournament is because I know what his history in BDO is, and I know how hard he has tried to make it in the other games, and I think I have an opportunity to help him gain some visibility here. And he deserves it because this guy, he's a real one, bro. He's a real one. Llama Speed, that's the GM of Epidemic. Spot on everything. Good guy. Good guy. Oh, there's Saiku. I miss when I could steal trade items for other players' boats. Oh, Pirate Island, good times. Holy shit. Agent Russ, awesome videos. My thoughts are the same. I always say this. If I wasn't streaming, I wouldn't be playing the game in this current state. Even when you were streaming, you weren't playing the game because you were AFK drop streaming. You pussy. Crazy. It's a crazy comment. It's a crazy comment. Crazy comment coming from Agent Russ, bro. For those of you that don't know, he and I had a knockdown, drag out argument in the partner chat a long time ago because he started AFK drop streaming as a BDO partner. And I am not going to explain exactly what happened because I don't want to talk about partner chat specifics, but I will tell you it was a knockdown drag out. Like, there were some people that supported him, and then there were some people that adamantly stood against it, and then there were people that were upset with me because I even called out the behavior because I shouldn't be the Twitch police. So pretty much the same as today. Not much has changed. Was he? I did not know this. Well, he doesn't do it anymore. Well, he's not a BDO partner anymore. He's not a BDO partner anymore. Bro, these comments, the comments on this video are, oh, there's BDO Foundry. That's like the website BDO Foundry? What the? I made it through the whole video. On a serious note, I found this really sad to watch. Although I've known you for a long time, I only recently discovered you through podcasts and lurking in your stream. It is tough to listen to the negative stuff about the game all the time, but I must admit I agree with pretty much everything you said. And it's a shame to think that what BDO is now compared to 2016. Sometimes I wonder how different and better it could be if they just took the game in another direction, because it's always had so much potential. And as you said it just misses the mark. Really sad to see you taking a break. It's not a break, he quit. But I wish you all the best. That's true. People say the same thing when I make negative videos about the game. I mean, like, oh, I hate the Doomer content, Blue, but you're not wrong. Boy, oh boy. How many times have I heard that? Although lately it's been, how can we cancel Blue? In every possible way. In every conceivable way. The amount of shit that I've been through in the last, like, 60 days. I don't see any more creators in here. I think they would be higher up. But yeah, that's the video. I recommend interacting with it. That's an oldie, but a goodie.